guys, I want to take a quick second to thank my awesome Patreon supporters. You guys are awesome. If you want to help support the channel and vote on which decks I play next, feel free to check out my Patreon at the link below. Welcome back, everyone. Playing some Scion Silly Tribal. Every card in this deck starts with the letter S. Take a look at our opening hand. We've got a Sky Shroud claim. Only 2 lands, a little bit light. Oh man, I think it's 37 lands in this deck. 37 lands in the deck, reasonable chance. We'll try it. As long as we find 2 more lands, the Sky Shroud claim should be pretty good. I don't know that there's a ton of cards like Sky Shroud claim in this deck, so yeah, I think hanging on to it's probably the right idea. So today we're playing Janky Tribal. I hope that opponents brought their Janky Tribal decks. Today's deck comes from Patreon supporter Ethan Gray, who recently joined the Most Awesome Legendary Angel tier, so I'm excited to give their deck a try out today, see where things go. As I mentioned, we're playing Scion of the Ur-Dragon, Wooburg for a 4/4 flying, pay 2, search your library for a dragon permanent card, put it into your graveyard. If you do, Scion becomes a copy of it until end of turn. Ooh, Authority of the Console's coming down for Reaper King. That is getting started early with that Authority. Authority will be really good against this Zurgo. So our first opponent is a Patreon supporter, Chaotix2075, and they will be piloting this Reaper King deck. I believe this is the same deck that we saw the other day. I have no reason to believe otherwise, so being that we are playing Janky Tribal kind of decks, they will most likely be on Scarecrow Tribal. Ooh, and a turn 1 Soul Ring for the Ghoul-Caller Gisa, which brings it back to our turn. We draw not a land, very disappointing, so we'll play this Sacred Foundry tapped and pass the turn. Continuing on our opponents, second up we have Zurgo Helm Smasher. Hopefully if opponent brought a Janky Tribal deck like they are supposed to, then they are playing Orc Tribal, because that would be super sweet. I have never seen an Orc Tribal deck, so I am excited at the prospect of seeing one. Pillar of Origins coming down for the Reaper King opponent, and they choose Scarecrow. So yep, definitely the Scarecrow Tribal deck. Scarecrows are fun. And then finally, we have a Ghoul-Caller Gisa, most likely on Zombie Tribal. Based on what I'm seeing at the table so far, Zombie Tribal probably one of the better tribes at the table. Although we have some pretty sweet dragons in our deck too. So Phyrexian Arena for the Ghoul-Caller Gisa sounds nice. Get some extra card draw going. We draw Steam Augury, which is not a land, so I'm starting to get nervous. It's not a problem yet, but next turn it will be if we don't start drawing lands. Now, the one thing I liked about the basics in this deck is they circumvented the spelling issue by using all snow-covered basic lands. So they still all start with S. When I was thinking about the deck, I'm like, I wonder what they did for the basic lands. I'm like, oh, yeah, you just use snow-covered. Then they all start with S. Scarecrow coming down for the Reaper King. And Zurgo is going to end step this Enlightened Tutor. See what they go for. It's a Soul Ring. That's a pretty good one. We're going to be a bit behind here, so I'm going to look to the Reaper King to hopefully blow some stuff up when the table gets kind of cluttered here. And there's a Tenza Godo Maul for the Zurgo. Interestingly, while looking through this deck list, I noticed there are a lot of good Magic cards that start with S. So if you're looking to build a deck based on a particular letter, S is not a bad one. Sylvan Library, very, very good. Settle the Wreckage, nice little piece of removal. Sky Shroud Claim, as we mentioned, pretty sweet. All of the swords. Staff and In, Skull Clamp, yeah, decent cards that start with S. Cage Sun coming down for the Ghoul-Caller Gisa, oh boy. We draw not a land, that is bad. We have 8 cards in hand. I think we're going to discard this Spellbound Dragon. This is how you lose games of Magic, by not drawing lands. Opponent's going to draw a card with their Scarecrow, sacrifices it. Wonder if they were looking for the land drop right there. They did play a land after, so looks like they made it. Zurgo Helm Smasher coming into play. Luckily it comes in tapped, thanks to the Authority of the Consoles. Mana Crypt, Flip, and a Phyrexian Arena trigger for the Ghoul-Caller Gisa. So hopefully they lose this flip right there and they'll be burning through 4 life. Oh yeah, nice, they lost the flip, so 4 life down. See how long Ghoul-Caller Gisa can sustain that kind of life loss. Here comes a Custody Lich. Whenever you become the Monarch, target player sacrifices a creature. So Zurgo about to get sacrificed, and opponent becomes the Monarch. Don't have any ways that we'll be easily able to steal that Monarch token. And a Risen Executioner coming down. Comes in tapped. Bajukabog targets the Scarecrow opponent, exiles the Scarecrow. Ooh, we draw a land. We're getting closer. All right. What to do right here? On 3 mana, we have, I think, just this Sunforger. Running an unprotected Sunforger out there, not my idea of a good time, but based on the tempo that we've already lost in this game, I think we're just going to have to do that. It may get blown up, it may not get blown up, but I don't think we can just sit around doing nothing. Here comes Urza's Incubator for the Reaper King opponent. That's a Gisela Blade of Gold Knight. Awesome. Wish I had the mana to counter that thing, because that's about as good as they get. Hopefully Reaper King can, like, get into play next turn and shoot that thing down. Otherwise, someone's going to be losing a lot of life. Ooh, nice. Ghoul Caller Gisa losing more flips. They're down to 28. It's turn 5. Wow. They are getting to look at a lot of extra cards, though. So that life loss will manifest itself into stuff at some point. But oh, yeah, because they lost the flip and Gisela doubles the damage. Yeah, that's rough. 6 damage on a Mana Crypt is considerable. Hopefully with that being the case, they will be incentivized to play some removal on that Gisela. Here comes a Cemetery Reaper in tapped. And a Zombie Trailblazer. Tap and untap zombie you control, target land becomes a swamp. Tap and untap zombie you control, target creature gains swamp walk until end of turn. Huh, it's not bad. That's one that you don't really see much of. And, ooh, Noxious Ghoul. That's a pretty good one. Entomb. So, Ghoul Caller Gisa getting to work. Board wipe is needed. Opponent going to spread the damage around, except there's a Gisela on the board, so all that damage is going to be doubled. This is going to be a big hit. We draw a land. Oh, it comes in tapped. Oh, punished. Well, someone else is going to have to play a board wipe. And, I mean, even if we got it down, that gives us a Sky Shroud claim, which doesn't, like, I don't know exactly how much that does. Our one hope is going to be getting this Sphinx of the Steel Wind down. If Gisela's still in play, we can double up the damage on that lifelink, which would be pretty helpful. Blazethorn Scarecrow. Hopefully Gisela wants to go attack into the opponent with the large number of zombies. That would be ideal. Gonna equip them all. It's an 8/8 Gisela. They can get it up to 10 power if they want to. That Slayer's stronghold. Here comes Queen Marchesa. 30 of the consoles will trigger. Opponent becomes the Monarch. Would love to get me in on some of that Monarch action. Looks like the Custody Lich triggered incorrectly. So they're going to target us with it because they know it's an incorrect trigger. So who's getting 16 from this Gisela? Looks like it's going to be the zombie opponent. So hopefully they get a little blood feud going right here. Because that's the only way we're going to get back into this game. They go all the way down to 12. Zombie opponent is low. So Mana Crypt trigger and Phyrexian Arena trigger. Even though the damage would be halved, if they just sent everything into the Zurgo, it'd still be a pretty good amount. They'd have 28 damage that would get halved into 14. That's still like a sizable hit. I mean, 28 is obviously better. 28 is them almost dead, but one problem we're going to have too, that Authority of the Consoles means we can't block, so we probably really need to be on a board wipe. Geth, Lord of the Vault coming into play. It's going to trigger the Noxious Ghoul one time. Opponent needs to bring 2 more zombies in, and that'll force them to sacrifice Queen Marchesa, and then they can attack and get the Monarch token to kill Gisela. Opponent's going to use the Geth, Lord of the Vault ability. They milled a Shriekmaw from us. Well, that would have gotten rid of Gisela also. Sword of Fire and Ice, a land, and a Shieldred. Shieldred's a pretty good one. Nope, Cabal Ritual. So opponent's going to have some extra mana to work with. Goes back up to 3 mana. Ooh, nice. Going to play a Fleshbag Marauder. Nice. Opponent sending everything into the Zurgo. That'll get the Monarch token, and that will kill that Gisela. But we're still in bad need of a board wipe. Well, opponent got the Monarch token back, except did not cause the sacrifice trigger, so that's a big problem. Alright, this, the Custody Lich is very bugged. We draw Sphinx's Revelation, not super helpful. So, right here, we're just going to play the Sky Shroud claim and hope for the best. Get the Stomping Ground and the Snow-Covered Forest. Doesn't look like there's any reason to pay the life, so in tapped it comes and pass turn. We don't have any black mana. No black mana. Nice, opponent's gonna use the Field of Ruin. Oh yeah, that means we can search for a basic. So Bojuka Bog down. We need black mana very badly. Alright, so that solves that issue. We can get Sharum the Hegemon, which can get a Sword of Fire and Ice, which is kind of cool. Doesn't like necessarily get us out of our current predicament, but it's a start. Sphinx of the Steel Wind is also cool if it didn't come in tapped from this Authority of the Consoles. Scrap Basket coming in. What do we have for Sunforger? Settle the Wreckage. Settle the Wreckage is a card. Can we get something into play, equipped, and ready to go? Probably not, because all of our creatures are super expensive. Slice and Twain, Smash. Stroke of Genius is okay. Swords to Plowshares, always good. Settle the Wreckage, probably the card that we'll be looking at Sunforger-wise, though. Hammer of Nazan coming down, that's fun. Gisela is now equipped and indestructible. Demonic Tutor. So Gisela going to swing into the zombie opponent. So zombie opponent goes down to Gisela. Gisela, though, should not be in play. The trigger is being bugged. We draw a Sun Titan. Sun Titan's pretty interesting. At this point, it can get lands and a Sword of Fire and Ice. I think the play right here is just to get Sphinx of the Steel Wind. Do we have enough? Crap, we're one short on Sphinx of the Steel Wind. So I guess we play Sun Titan. Let's get the Salt Flats. Authority of the Consoles will trigger one time. And next turn, the plan is probably going to be sit on this Sun Forger. Reaper King coming into play. Nice. Scrap Basket going on the attack into the Zurgo opponent. Ooh, that's a Bruce Tarl coming in. So Gisela can kill someone. Let's see who they want to go after. Double striked, double damaged at 10 power. Going after the Reaper King. All right, well, I think we're going to get one chance at this. Some chance we might be able to sneak it out, though. So Chaotix goes down, and that's going to leave it up to us. Deal with this Zurgo opponent, who most definitely did not bring a tribal deck. We draw a land, finally catching a land, so play the land. Hope opponent doesn't have removal. If they do, we're in real trouble. All right, Sunforger's equipped. I feel much better about things when Sunforger is equipped. Let's do some attacking. Get the Sword of Fire and Ice. Actually, we're going to get the Plains. That'll give us an additional Sunforger activation this turn. So opponent's going to take a measly 5 off of the Sun Titan being halved. Never going to get busy with the Sunforger. Step 1 is going to be Smash on the Hammer of Nazan. Hammer of Nazan, a little bit too good to leave around. We draw a card, it's a land, so be able to make it next turn's land drop. And re-equip the Sunforger. Pass the turn. Feeling pretty good with this Sunforger in play. I got the list of cards up next to me. We've got Swords of Plowshares, Suffocating Blast, and Settle the Wreckage, as will probably be the first things that we go to. Actually, that makes up most of what we can go for, but... Sigarda's Aid coming down for the Gisela. Makes things scarier. I guess with Settle the Wreckage, doesn't really matter. I wonder if they try to go for... I wonder if they try to recast Zurgo right here. I would love to catch Zurgo in this Settle. So, Trailblazer's Boots. Okay. Trailblazers will get a free equip off of the Sigarda's Aid. Oh, I'm excited about this. I've been waiting to use Settle the Wreckage off Sunforger for quite a while now. So, opponent going to attack. Yep, Bruce Tarl going to trigger. Targeting the Gisela. Yeah, why mess around? Let's just go for it right now. So, activate the Sunforger. Get Settle the Wreckage. So, both creatures getting exiled. Makes me feel good. Finally getting rid of that Gisela. Bruce Tarl trigger fizzles. Ooh, Olivia Valderin, you say. That might be a Swords to Plowshares target. I was going to equip the Tenza Godo Maul on it. It's now a 6/6. Yep. Definitely looks like Swords to Plowshares time. Play the Shivan Oasis. Equip the Sunforger. Use the Sunforger. Go for the Swords to Plowshares. Take down the Olivia. Olivia down. Send Sun Titan on the attack. We could have equipped Sun Titan first. Crap. Miscounted my lands right there. So Sun Titan on the attack. Let's get the Sword of Fire Nice. It's okay, though. We can actually recover from not casting the Sunforger right there. So get the Sword of Fire Nice. I mean, opponent's at 60 life anyway, so this is going to be a long... We need to grind them out for a while is what we need to do. But we are set up to do that. So Sun Titan hits for 6. Opponent is down to 52. Let's equip the Sword of Fire and Ice. And then we're going to leave up the Soul Manipulation so that we can counter Zurgo when they likely cast it this turn and get back our Shieldred. And Shieldred is probably how we win this game. So opponent going to go for their Zurgo right here. Yep, we're going to counter that. Counter the Zurgo, get back the Shieldred. Soul Manipulation. One that you don't see come up very often. 3 mana to do 2 pretty good things. So Shieldred back to the hand, Zurgo back to the command zone. Make it ever so much more expensive to cast. Opponent say a nice comeback over there. Yes, indeed. Just going to keep riding the Sun Titan and the equipments as long as possible. I think we have run out of things to reanimate with Sun Titan, however. Feast and Famine is a card. Feast and Famine is a very good card. Okay, I think Suffocating Blast is the only real Sunforger target left in our deck. So we'll need to keep that in mind. But I think what we do right here is equip the Sunforger so we can keep counter magic up. Play this Sword of Feast and Famine. Equip Sword of Feast and Famine. Doesn't look like we have anything to do with 2 or 3 mana, so let's go to attacks. Gonna hit for 14 with this Sun Titan. That's pretty good. Boom! Opponent goes down to 35. We can shock them with the sword, get them with the Feast and Famine. Sower of Discord into our hand. Choose 2 players, damage dealt to... Weird. Probably not great in 1 versus 1 situation. I think we cast that Shieldred. Shieldred reanimates Shriekmaw. Shriekmaw has to shoot a creature. Okay, so maybe we don't go for that. Instead, let's go for the Sphinx of the Steelwind and leave up the Suffocating Blast on Sun Titan. I like the Sphinx right here because it has protection from red, which seems to be most of the creatures in their deck. Also, the lifelink is cool. Here comes Zurgo. I don't know that we actually care with Sun Titan and protection down. Oh, it does have, they can give it, yeah, I forgot about the boots. What do we have left? Forgot about the boots. Well, I think we're still okay. Nothing else, we can counter a spell on our turn. I guess we just play the Shieldred. That's always the thing we can do. This opponent's going to get us for 7. And that's going to bring it back to our turn. Selfless. Ah, I love Selfless Squire. Oh, this is like a deck built for me. So, play Shieldred, go to combat, do some attacking. We're getting in for 20 right here. It's pretty good. Both swords trigger. Sword of Fire and Ice. Shoot the Zurgo? Opponent goes down to 10 life. Feast and Famine's going to trigger again. We draw into a Supreme Verdict. Where was that on turn 4? Man, the board was so clogged with zombies, Gisela, everything. Couldn't get a removal spell to save our life. I'm gonna dump the Sunblast Angel into our graveyard. Actually, let's go for the Sower of Discord. And then I'm just gonna leave all the mana up for our instant speed tricks with Sunforger, Selfless Squire, Sphinx's Revelation, Steam Augury. Lots of things to be doing at instant speed. So there's a Vampiric Tutor. We'll let the Tutor resolve. Curious to see what opponent goes for right here. Insurrection might do it. Yeah, Insurrection would be just enough damage. Opponent goes down to 8 life, tutors for a card, puts it on top of their library. Let's find out what it is. Elspeth, Sun's Champion, you say? Well, that's going to be a big old nope. Sunforger for that red-blue counterspell. Elspeth could potentially get them back. They would blow up all 3 of our creatures right there. It would take us a while to get going again. And if they just go Elspeth and follow it with Zurgo on their next turn, then that's pretty good. Cast the Suffocating Blast. We will have to do 3 damage to a creature. Looks like it's going to have to be the Shieldred, only creature that is not pro-red on our side. Sun Titan, by the way, has protection from 4 colors. Every once in a long while, I get it to say protection from all colors, and that's just very exciting. We would need white is the color we're missing protection from currently. So, Elspeth, Sun's Champion, going down. Opponent saying GG. Shieldred trigger on us. Let's get this. That's pro-black. That's pro... That one would die. Let's just get this Sower thing. Make sure I read this thing right and don't mess it up. As enters the battlefield, choose 2 players. Whenever damage is dealt to one of the chosen players, the other chosen player loses that. You know what? That's probably not the card that I wanted, to be completely honest. Choose them. Choose us. Might have been better off with the, what you call it right there. So send in the Sun Titan. We don't want to overdo it because that damage is now going to be dealt to us. Yeah, Shriekmaw was probably the better call right there. And there it is, coming back out of nowhere. Wow. I can't believe that worked. We had a terrible, terrible start. Tell you what, though, the late game punch, if you can hang around for a little while, things like Shroom, Sun Titan, Sunforger, Sword of the Animist, Shieldred, Sphinx of the Steel Wind. Did I say Sunforger? Should probably say Sunforger again, because it's so good. That's a lot of S sounds right there, a lot of sibilants. But yeah, Scion's silly S tribal getting there. Oh. So taking a look at Ethan's Scion Silly Tribal, every card in this deck starts with the letter S. The one thing I'm noticing is that the curve is just a little bit high. As we noticed in the game, I had some trouble with lands early on. You'll notice the 5 and 6 converted mana cost slots of this deck are really crowded. I don't think there's really enough ramp right now to be supporting that much at the top end of this deck. So what I would look to do is I would look to cut just a couple things, maybe 1 card out of the 5, cut 1 to 2 cards out of the 6 converted mana cost slot, and try to get some things in the 2 and 3 mana cost slot that are also ramp. You would need to look and go see which cards you can jam in that start with S. I don't know how many are out there, what's really available and whatnot. I imagine there's got to be more cards with like Sky Shroud in the name that are probably useful. But yes, I would definitely cut a little bit from the 6 converted mana cost slot of the deck. And the fact that you have some 7 and 8 drops, you may even be able to cut like 3 cards from that. And like I said, just getting some more mana ramp early in the deck, I think is going to be a really good idea. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, feel free to comment, like, or subscribe. Thank you for watching.